Hello and welcome to round 10 of Grand Prix Philadelphia. It is the first round of day 2. The players have drafted Brian David Marshall Sutcliffe here to bring you all the action between Mark Ivaldi on your left and Christian Calcano on your right. Both of these players went 9-0 yesterday in sealed.
Now, if I am in Mark Ivaldi's seat, I don't know how scared I am because I did ship a good part of this deck to Christian Calcano, but I would be terrified because Calcano's deck is absurd.
Yeah, Mark Ivaldi's deck.
Is it good?
Also pretty absurd from what I saw.
Okay, good. I was hoping you were going to say that because I want to see a real slugfest here.
Do you remember seeing that, like Arbor Colossus
yes, I do.
that Calcano passed?
Yes.
Yeah, well, it
That's
didn't go
where it
far.
landed, yeah. Okay.
Spoiler season.
Yeah,
it's spoiler season.
It is spoiler season. Yeah, we are going to be bringing you Christian Calcano's draft in between rounds at some point today as well, so you're going to get a chance to see what it took to put the deck that he has together.
Such a weird dynamic at this top table.
There
was clearly an aversion to white.
Yes.
By many of the top, really established pros at the table.
Yes. Which is really strange because white is considered by many to be one of the top, if not the top.
That elite skirmisher, 9th pick.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Spoiler season.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So there was Mark Ivaldi dabbled in white in the draft. I know he took a Celestial Archon.
Okay.
And a couple of other white cards here and there. Very solid blue-green deck. I was curious if he ended up splashing, although I doubt it because there was you're gonna break your heart. There was a second to last pick Peregrination at the out of Born of the Gods.
These heathens, what are they doing? All right, now a Wingsteed Rider for Christian Calcano.
And a Wave Crash Triton for Ivaldi. Calcano's just amassing his troops.
Mm-hmm.
Preparing for the first of several dauntless onslaughts.
This is, I think Christian Calcano's deck is going to be quite explosive here. Though I do see that Christian's down to 2 cards in hand, so.
Oh, did he mulligan?
He might have. He's also got 3 creatures left, though.
The Opaline Unicorn.
Perhaps not the ideal turn 4 play.
You're always relieved and scared when your opponent plays it.
Yes. Agree, especially when it's turn 4.
It's like, what card made him warp his mana curve and his mana enough to play this?
Uh-huh. There's something.
Although sometimes you're playing green, you just need it. You don't get a Voyaging Satyr.
You mentioned Arbor Colossus. It's like,
yeah,
that's a hard card to cast even just in 2-color deck.
Yeah, that's true.
But casting it on turn 4 is kind of sweet.
Yeah, if you look at Ivaldi's hand, you can see a Sea God's Revenge kind of floating around in there, bobbing in his hand.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's a Vulpine Goliath. So
this is
actually,
something.
Ivaldi's in great shape.
Yeah, this is something you see a lot.
Yeah.
Like the green player will deploy a couple of big threats. In this case, just one, and then he'll Sea God's Revenge to keep that tempo pressure going.
And the thing is, Calcano, the way his draft went, his picks when he had a shot at God's Willing, which is the card you really need in this matchup a lot of the time.
Yeah.
There was another premium card he had to take.
Some Wingsteed Rider.
There was a Wingsteed Rider or a Favored Hoplite or.
Yeah.
So he plays.
Whoa! What is this? Ghostblade Eidolon? Wow. It is Ghostblade Eidolon. Doesn't put it on the Wingsteed Rider though.
Interesting. Attacks with everybody. Marks at 17. So that's 8. That's 10 right there.
It's 10.
I predict Mark Ivaldi will scry this turn.
I think you're right. Was that Mischief and Mayhem that he drew?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, he's running that? This could get dirty.
I mean, Mischief and Mayhem can be pretty sweet in the blue-green deck because you target your Wave Crash Triton and your other, fatty.
Oh yeah, good point. I have not seen that yet. That's interesting.
I've done this a couple times.
I think Fass is mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's real mad. He's not going to bother bouncing Omen
Interesting.
Speaker.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, although the argument for bouncing the Omen Speaker is that you just force him to use more mana.
I can never resist that. Yeah, letting him scry 2 is annoying.
Like, he gets to play both of those cards. He doesn't have to make any decision next turn.
Right.
As far as replaying his cards.
Mm-hmm.
But he is a 14, and there's a Mischief and Mayhem coming.
It's true.
Which might actually be lethal, depending on what Calcano does here.
Yeah, this is really interesting because that play that you mentioned, BDM, with the Wave Crash Triton plus putting it on a trampling creature is a really potent combo.
Lock down your best creature for an entire turn cycle.
Right.
And, oh, by the way...
It's 5 power Wave Crash Triton.
And, by the way, it's an 11 power, or 10 power Vulpine Goliath.
Yeah, that's a big swing. Like, Christian Calcano, and I got to say, Mischief and Mayhem is not a card that sees much play.
No.
So that's one that you can kind of get people with, I'm sure.
This is the only, like...
This is where it belongs?
This is really where it belongs. Like, you really, like, want, like, 2 Wave Crash Tritons in that deck. I mean, in my experience.
Yeah,
like, that's
combo,
the only time I've been able to justify it.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah.
Or sometimes in white-green where you have Elite Skirmishers. Same difference.
Okay. But you need to be able to get something out of the way simultaneously
you need to get some value off of that Mischief and Mayhem.
Because if you make 2 chump blocks with it or something, that's not enough.
Interesting. Calcano only played the Prescient Chimera.
Okay.
So if you Mischief and Mayhem here, tap the Chimera, just attack.
Yeah, he basically forces a chump on Omen Speaker on the Wave Crash Triton, and he gets in for 10. Would be a lethal attack.
Oh, actually, he also has an Aqueous form in hand, so I think he can just...
If that's the case, then he's got lethal.
Yeah.
Because then Omen Speaker would jump in front.
Yeah, he does. He also has Feral Invocation.
Jeez. So that Wave Crash Triton is doing double duty here. Now, interestingly, Christian does have 1 white mana left over, and even though I don't think he has a God's Willing, you know, that is
right. That's not information that Mark Ivaldi has.
Right. That's something that, I mean, he will just find that out and then adjust accordingly, but he's at 7. He has to be careful.
You sure it was a Mischief and Mayhem?
Yeah, that's what that is, right? Right there?
Oh, yeah, there it is. All right, he puts the Aqueous form on the Vulpine Goliath.
Okay. He wants to make sure that gets in.
In response, both your creatures attack.
Mischief and Mayhem targeting these 2 guys. That's interesting.
So 10 gets in automatic.
10 gets in automatic, but doesn't the Omen Speaker just get to chump block the guy now? That's interesting. Because if you put Aqueous form on your Wave Crash Triton, you can get in for the extra damage there, and you can also tap down the Omen Speaker, and then I think it's just like very lethal there, right?
Calcano's actually a 2 at the end of it, and Calcano has 0 creatures.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Mark was playing around by not just making the play that lets you tap down 2 things, get an evasive 5-power creature and a 10-power trampler against a 1-power guy.
Yeah.
But either way, he got the job done.
Taking a look over at the Reed Duke match. Reed Duke is playing against Michael Berenicki.
Berenicki, we saw him yesterday.
Yeah, in his sick Devil's Rejects sleeve. He's got a tattoo of the movie poster for the Devil's Rejects, the Rob Zombie horror film.
What?
Okay.
You're missing me here. It sounds sweet, though.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. All right, so Reed's on 14 life, Mike's at 13 life.
And Tomocratus has just come down.
Whoop. That'll change things significantly.
See an Oracle of Bones in play. The Meletus Astronomer, the controversial Meletus Astronomer.
It was. We're going to get a chance later as well to see Reed Duke draft this deck that you see in front of you.
And
Blue-black.
we're also going to get a chance later to see David Ochoa draft. We covered 3 drafts in this pod.
We just all love watching drafts.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just-
man.
It's a way of life.
I was over Calcano's shoulder shooting the draft, and I'm just like wanting to add. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. No, not that one. Christian, what are you doing?
I didn't say what are you doing on any of his picks.
Yeah.
I was pretty happy with how that went for him.
Fair enough.
So there you see a spear point, Oriad.
Combat.
The contractually obligated attack. Did he not? Did he just
This is a little weird.
spear point and then not attack?
He spear point and then not attacked. He left up 2 mana, not 3. Oh, is there a Springleaf Drum? Yeah, there's a Springleaf Drum, so he can regenerate anyway. But he would have to tap something to do it. I don't know. This is interesting.
I might as well tap your Flush Mad Steed to regenerate because you're gonna have to tap it if it dies anyway.
Mm-hmm. That's true. But the Oracle of Bones there now has 5 power and first strike, which unfortunately is not enough to tussle with the Tromacratus unless he can get some type of pump effect on it.
Right, like a Rise to the Challenge or
That
Rise
wouldn't
is
do it.
2,
Yeah, but what would do it is Titan
Titan
Strength.
Sure.
Yeah, but Reduke fears no Titan Strength and battles with Tromacratus here. I don't even know if he can. He can't block it. This is so awkward. It's actually just completely unblockable because of
Wait in
the
Underworld.
Yeah, it's completely unblockable because of the Deathbellow Raider. Because he has to block with all of his creatures, and if one of them can't, none of them can. So since it's tapped, Tromacratus is just unblockable.
I don't even think
That's just
I ever
nasty.
fully realized that.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like if you can pacify their guy or anything, Tromacratus is just in, no matter what. Yeah, you can tap their creature for just 1 turn. They can't block with anything. No chump blocking. No double, triple blocking.
What if you tie its shoelaces together, and when it goes to block, it falls over?
The J.R. Smith? No, that doesn't. Tromacratus would never stoop so low. I mean, this is lethal here, I'm assuming. Hero's Downfall. Wow. That was right in time.
Here's my window of no hexproof.
Yes.
Wow.
That is unbelievable. And Reed remembers the Fleshmat Steed trigger here.
Yeah, tap it.
Wow,
That's
this
right.
one just seemed like it was over. That is one of the very few ways in this format to kill a Tromacratus.
Carven Lampad on the Meletus Astronomer.
Let's see.
What are we going to find?
He's looking to the skies. Oh,
Find
he
the
sees a
Baleful
Baleful.
You're convinced now, huh?
Yeah, now I'm in. If I find Baleful Eidolon, I'm in. But this is actually potentially a problem here, as now it's a 3 power with Intimidate, and only the Fleshmat Steed can jump in front of it.
No,
it's blue.
It's blue.
Sorry, none of his creatures can jump in front of it. I wonder if what's his name, Michael?
Yeah, Michael Berenicki.
Yeah, I wonder if he got anything off of Oracle of Bones. I always want to see if anybody gets anything.
I mean, you always give them the spell, right?
I've never not. I've always given them the spell. Yeah, and nobody's ever cast anything against me either.
Has Randy ever tried to put the Soul Read on you when you cast an Oracle of Bones?
I think I watched him try to put it on you, and then you showed him Rage of Perforos. No, I don't really. I think I've only played that card once. I don't.
That was the only time. That's the only time I've ever played it.
Yeah.
Also, it was fun though.
Yeah, just looking at people like, I might have it.
Another Spear Point Oriad.
No protein.
All right.
Is this Is this a real attack here? It's 4. It's not a real attack because he has a 5 toughness creature, and I think Michael's out of cards. So Reed says, sure. So what's the point of putting Spear Point Oriad on that thing if it's just going to get blocked anyway?
Playing for Titan Strength, playing for something else. Maybe his own maybe playing for his own Carved Lampad.
So you're
Like,
saying that
just like-
Michael's like a much more optimistic person than I am?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wow. So we are going to be going back to the Calcano Ivaldi match, but those guys are not starting with 7 cards. Oh, wow. Sounds like Calcano's on 5.
Okay. Eye gouge to finish off Oracle of Bones, and also
here's mud in your eye.
Yeah, that one didn't actually. The Oracle's not actually a Cyclops, but it does have 1 toughness in that case, thanks to the weight of the underworld. So that'll do it.
Yeah, would Fibblethip die to eye gouge? I mean, Fibblethip dies to everything, right?
Fibblethip's an 0-1.
Yeah,
there's no way. So yes, confirmed. So
Fibblethip
this is
dies if you yell at him.
Yeah. So this is a 5-card hand for Calcano?
This is a 5-card hand that starts off pretty well. Favorite hoplite.
Yeah.
Does he have something to climb? No 2-drop enhancer.
This is a lot of pressure on Calcano. His deck's very, very good.
So good.
Like, picking up a loss in the first round would be very disappointing. This is the 3-0 deck for sure. I mean, obviously, there's no such thing as a lock, but
I
this is
tell you,
a possible.
Mark Ivaldi's deck looked like it had the tools to me. When I watched, I looked over after the draft. Like, it was like kind of like that's kind of deck. Just the ramp and fatties and and bounce. And
It had all the tools.
Yeah, the kind of thing where you could just really like, oh, is that a Voltron? I'll pick it up or kill it or.
Do you think this is one of those times where just 2 of the very good decks of the draft are clashing in the first round?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, these guys were fairly cooperative with each other.
Yeah, they were. They shared a color, but not really a lot of the same.
And interestingly,
wants.
I think they both dipped into the other's color tentatively at one point.
Is that right? Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that Ivaldi has a Celestial Archon, but Calcano has a Kiora's Fall.
Yeah.
This is obviously not an exciting draw for Calcano. He's got Setessan Battle Priest to follow up his favorite hoplite, which would normally be reasonable, but he just doesn't have anything going on here. This is where things can get ugly if you're sitting in Calcano's seat, because Mark is going to have 5 mana available to him here, and he could just play some. He plays a Nessian Asp here, and the game gets very difficult for Calcano.
He can't play the Arbor Colossus.
He cannot.
In his hand.
And he has it in his hand.
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
And that looks like a Nyxborn wolf.
So what is Ivaldi's plan here? He did nothing for his turn. Calcano did nothing for his turn.
His plan is to find a forest, play an Arbor Colossus, attack a couple turns, soften him up, see God's Revenge, blah, blah, blah.
But he just did nothing last turn?
It looks like is he doing nothing?
Does he have a counter spell or something?
No.
He was just being stubborn? What's going on? He had that Nyxborn wolf last turn.
No, he just drew that this turn.
Oh, he drew that this turn?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So
I like this
wolf
now.
On the Omen Speaker.
Upgrade that to a 4/4. Oh, he does have a counter, though. The softest of counters. He's got stymied hopes.
Oh, no.
looking to get somebody.
That unicorn is looking pretty good here.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not like he still needs 2 mana to cast it, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying Calcano had the stymied hopes.
No, Ivaldi does. But he decides he just want to get the ball rolling here and start beating down, while Calcano's kind of floundering. Man, Calcano hits his 5th mana, can't even cast a Prescient Chimera. It's just like the awkwardest.
Those are the worst. Those are the hands where you're like, what am I doing? I'm drawing lands.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't cast spells. You know what I mean? It's not like he's got 3 more lands in his hand.
Right.
It's just like that hopeless feeling, like where everything's just out of sync.
Yep, I agree. So Ivaldi has Voyaging Satyr, so we will potentially be seeing that Arbor Colossus come down next turn, but hopefully Calcano doesn't end up running into stymied hopes here. Wow, I thought you were kidding.
Box of coffee acquired.
Apparently they sell coffee in boxes here. Oh, no.
Taps out for a ghost.
Wait a second.
Oh.
He's like, oh, nullify? Oh, no.
Oh.
The aptly named
He's been
stymied hopes
stymied.
here, too. I mean, geez.
I mean, and when you're in the locker room before you go to play, that's the play you're drawing up. My opponent's going to tap out.
Yes.
You know, I don't need this in null. I want the fancy play of the stymied hope.
It's so brutal, too, because Calcano has not missed a land drop. He went 1 drop, 2 drop, 6 drop, and that got stymied.
Oh, my God. And, oh, by the way, an Arbor Colossus, just in case.
Yeah, this is just getting painful. Calcano is a tempo deck. He needs to get ahead and stay ahead.
And
He does not have the tools to come back. Yeah, Omen Speakers beat him down. He just can't. It's just so difficult for him to come back in this situation. You know, he draws his best card, one of his best cards in his deck, Wingsteed Rider. It does nothing.
Yeah.
In fact, it just gets eaten.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to see that.
And, you know, the thing for Calcano historically has been managing his tilt factor.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, you know, you're curious to see how he. Oh.
This is getting less and less fun.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just getting destructive at this point. This is an attack for 10, 11 damage. Voyage's End, at least to keep the damage at bay here for Calcano. But again, the problem being that he doesn't have a recovery plan.
What permutation of cards is he going to play?
Yeah, there
his,
isn't one, I don't
next
think.
turn.
Yeah. I mean, obviously he still makes the play, but
yeah,
it's just not. I just don't see, you know, these type of aggressive decks just don't come back well. They have to get ahead and stay ahead. If they don't, they're buried. And right now he is far outclassed
so it looks
by
like
Mark's
he's got
board.
a Dauntless Onslaught, so like he can actually muck things. He's still got to deal with the Arbor Colossus, which I don't know that he has a way to deal with.
The problem with it is that Mark can just leave up
and Mark
monstrous.
Mark has a Voyage's End and a Griptide in hand.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'm telling you, his deck looked terrific.
Wow, his deck's good.
You know, and I don't know Mark. Like, I haven't seen, you know, he's not someone I'm familiar with but like, you know, he sat down and he was looking across and he was directly across from Reed Duke. And he was like, "Ooh, do I get to play Reed Duke?"
Really?
You know, like,
jeez.
You know, not intimidated.
Interesting. All right, so attack with Omen Speaker. This is not a must block here, but he does. So we're going to see Dauntless Onslaught here. Yeah.
So Calcano gets to gain some life.
He's going to gain 2 life, and he's potentially going to eat this Omen Speaker, but frankly, it's not that big of a deal.
Mean, he just doesn't really eat it. He just kind of cuts its legs out from under the Nyxborn wolf, right?
That's right. I mean, the Omen Speaker is going to get eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a leftover wolf is not fun. But
an Omen Speaker in wolf's clothing.
Mm-hmm. The thing that Mark has to decide is, does he have enough mana to recast? You know, because he'd like to Griptide here, but if he Griptides, he doesn't get to play his Arbor Colossus post-combat, and he really needs to get that thing back on the table. So he's going to settle for just a Voyage's End, make sure he counts up the 5 green, the 5 with his 3 green, and recast his Arbor Colossus and say go. I like that play. Now he has the ability to Griptide any potential blockers away, and try to get in there for lethal. Observant Al-Sayed, a really nice addition to the board here, and it also gains him 2 life.
Right.
But again, Arbor Colossus just outclasses anything Calcano can do here.
Oh, I mean, again, like now, you know, the Mark of Ivaldi's hand is just ready for everything.
What did he get now?
He's also got a Crypsis.
Jeez. Did you know that untaps your creature?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Just double checking.
I read it in a Magic Arcana. Looks like he also has does he have a Grave Robber Spider too?
He does.
So what's his fear here? What's his hesitation?
I think what he's trying to do is just make sure that he can try to win in 2 turns. or not try to win, but try to put up enough pressure that Calcano's got to block appropriately. And he does. This is a 5 toughness creature here. You know, because another play that Mark has is to grip tide pre-combat here. And force a chump block.
I kind of like.
Yeah, if he grip ties the Cetessan Battle Priest, then that means that there's a chump block there, and that's going to do it.
Yeah, activate the Arbor Colossus.
And that's lethal. It's exactly so.
That you know, it seems so simple when you're talking about it, but like when you monstrous.
Calcano doesn't look happy.
No.
You know, you mentioned it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean historically,
he certainly made strides in that.
This is what he's working on is like his the thing he needs to deal with as a player. And I'm hoping he can appreciate the fact that, you know what, you still have a loss to give.
Yes.
You're 9-1,
and
so easily top 8 from here.
Yeah, and you get to play somebody who lost their first round too. So.
Oh my.
What is happening here?
This is a.
Is that an Underworld Cerberus?
It is. It is
a no.
Bigger, first strikier.
Wait, was that a? Oh, I see. Yeah, and he probably powered it out with the Springleaf drum too.
Yeah.
You know, you and I have had discussions about Springleaf drum where I come down on the no side and you come down on the it's better than you think side, and it looks like it's doing work here.
Well, again, it's just like, I mean, you know, Opaline Unicorn's not super exciting, but sometimes you have to play like the same thing. You see, like, there's decks that just have these fatties or these like premium bestows or you know, and you just need to cast stuff.
It's got to beat the drum sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just never find a spot for it. I'm always just like, this thing's just not. In fact, I didn't have a dice with me yesterday, and I ripped one up for a live counters, and the guy's like, "Dude, that's a Springleaf drum." I was like, "Whoops." I thought it was just like a tip card, but.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something I'm actively looking. There's a Shipwreck Singer. Not something I'm actively looking to do in the format, but like, I'm not unhappy with it.
All right. I'm mad at it. I'm mad at it. I'm angry. Me and Springleaf drum, just don't put us in the same room together. Oh, wait, is he empty-handed? Makes that decision.
Hellbent.
Yeah. And I think he had to play that mountain, or else he would have had to use his drum and not be able to attack. So, wow. So Reed was actually at 4 there.
Wow. Yeah, I mean the Cerberus just is such a beating.
It is such a savage beating, that card. It's really tough to deal with that card.
Manuel.
So we have a lot of players in the feature match area. Hopefully we can move one of them, maybe someone from the tech table.
Oh yeah.
In to sort of keep the flow of action going.
Have we been? Did we have 2 side tables and then the 2 video tables as well? Yeah, I like that plan.
Yeah. And we have all the 9-0s in action in the feature match area.
That's right.
Round.
Yep. Yeah, we were talking with Rich Hagen. You know, they've got a little bit more room over in Europe for their features, but we're going to try to clear out some for us. I like that idea. You know, we're always trying to improve coverage for you at home viewing, and one way that we're looking to do that is try to get more people in our relatively limited space feature match area, and that way, if there happens to be a game 3 upcoming, we can jump them over to the text match and watch it.
I just want to take a moment.
To the feature.
I know I always bash people for shuffling, but I want to take a moment to appreciate the briskness of Reed Duke's shuffle. Look at this.
Fast.
Look at this. This is magnificent.
It is. It's lovely.
You know, they tell you to get better at Magic by watching players better than you. People at home, watch this.
Yeah, Reed is an efficient shuffling machine. There's no doubt about it. He also incorporates riffle shuffles.
Yeah, that's like a PTQ grinder shuffle.
He's like a 275 hitter when it comes. You know.
Doesn't walk a lot.
No, he's good. I would, I'd have him on my team and not be worried. But Reed Duke,
that was,
I mean, he's putting up like a 350 season right now. Like it's really impressive. He also incorporates different shuffles.
Yeah.
He's got the riffle shuffle. He's got the pile shuffle.
He's got that side riffle.
He's got the side riffle.
It gets right down to business.
Yeah.
He's like, let's go. I've got stars to see.
Mm-hmm. And Reed Duke takes the draw 3 extra cards, which is the indicator of a mulligan.
So did he end up with the Master of Waves that Calcano opened?
He did, yep.
Yeah,
Wow. Got to him. It did.
These guys were like passing to each other from across the table.
They kind of were.
Oh, awesome. So
Sweet.
we've got another match going on for you right now.
This is David Ochoa
versus Joe Demestrio. They were also in this first draft pod. They were the 2 8-1.
Okay.
At the bottom of the pod.
Right.
And both of these players have ended up black.
I'm big fans of both of these guys,
Yeah,
by
of
the
course.
way. Yeah, I mean, David Ochoa, obviously. Joe Demestrio, not as well known as David Ochoa is, but I've been kind of keeping my eye on Joe for multiple GPs now, and he's really impressed me with his play. He's just consistently near the top tables. He's got a GP top 8 under his belt already. In this season, he's got like 5 top 16s or something.
And he's right now, you know, really like grinding in the truest sense. He's trying to find a couple extra points.
I know.
To qualify for Atlanta. There you see Farik Escura takes down a forlorn Sudama.
Yeah, this is an interesting play there because the forlorn Sudama wasn't doing much.
Yeah, we're back. Look how fast Reed Duke shuffles. Like he's already shuffled. Resolved his mulligan, shuffled, and we're 2 turns in.
You're giving him
game
credit
3.
for all of it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Is that a Painseer?
That Painseer from Michael Berenicki.
I like Painseer.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
You like it in limited?
Yes.
Yeah.
I run it.
Not necessarily in constructed.
I wish it would find a home, but it doesn't seem to have yet. Feels like there could be one.
Oh, Scourge Mark and his Painseer to dig.
Ye old desperation Scourge Mark. I like it.
Found it.
That was funny. Scourge Mark into Dark Betrayal.
It's like getting the ball out of bounds off the other player. You
Right.
know?
I love crisp plays like that, though. You know, that's a line of play that doesn't come up very often.
Yeah.
But if you're not going to be using that Scourge Mark in the foreseeable future and you need to draw some cards, it is just a sweet play to do that. You just cycle it. All you're doing is just paying 2 mana to draw a card. You're killing the Painseer anyway. That was Divination?
Divination for Reed Duke.
You know, you were talking about how you've been playing Divination in quite a few of your blue decks recently. This is the deck that wants it.
Oh,
I mean, this is where it's
it
just beautiful.
shines in the blue-black
Yeah.
deck. It shines in blue-black, but I even like it in a blue-white heroic. Like, I just want more stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I want to find my Chosen by Heliod's and my bestowed creatures, and there's a Gray Merchant of Asphodel.
That's nice here.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect card here.
It is.
Holds back the Oreads, gets you back a little bit of life.
Mm-hmm. Now,
Ooh.
combat tricks, of course, are a major issue here. But whatever.
Yep.
Double first strike.
Yeah, it rises to the challenge. Does Reed have multiple Gray Merchants, or
One.
just that one? Okay.
Yeah, I think he saw one other, but maybe it was in the pack with the Master of Waves, something like that.
Yeah.
Like I can't remember, but
I can't imagine that Gray
It is
Merchant
not-
would have gotten past Ochoa.
yeah. So Reed Duke is heavy blue
Oh, okay.
and less so black. You wouldn't call him a Gray Merchant deck necessarily. I mean, he's running it kind of just for value.
So many pressure chimeras in this draft.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
I remember looking at the set early. Oh, he puts the question to Reed Duke. Faragax Giant.
Pay or not pay?
18.
Otherwise known as removal spell or no removal spell.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously Reed pays, because that's what you do when you put a cast Faragax Giant when you're on that side of 10.
Yeah,
You're north
it's
of 10?
true.
Yeah, 5.
Yep, take it.
It's also hard to deal with a 5/5 in this format.
It is.
So Fate Foretold on the Chimera.
Ooh, into Master of Waves. Wow, that's 4. Now, his opponent is black and red. The red removal spells don't apply here, but all of the black ones do. There's a lot of ways to kill the Master Waves in the format. The question is just, does Berenicki have one?
Well, let's see.
Looking
He does have a
for-
Hero's Downfall that we've seen.
We saw that. So that's possible.
He has a way to the underworld. That's
Okay.
He has 2 ways to deal with that master.
No eye
Waves.
gouges, no Farika's cures.
Certainly not main deck.
All right.
You're 13?
Yeah, no.
So that Master of Waves could stick around here potentially. Yeah, that's a gray merchant. That doesn't do anything to Master Wave. So I have to say that, you know, if Reed Duke wants to try to get aggressive here, he doesn't really have the option to. Like, as much as that Master Waves has helped stabilize his board, he doesn't really have any attacks. 2 first strikers, a 2/4, and a 3/3 is just going to...
You don't feel like he can start attacking with the Chimera?
Oh, yeah, with the Chimera for sure. I just mean, like, you know, getting that big swing that Master Waves can get you. Yeah, basically, it's just going to hold down the ground. And, yeah, he can start battling with the Chimera, though. Berenicki's at 20. He's got a long way to go, but...
Got to get started sometime.
No time like the present, right? Interesting. Way to the underworld.
And fly over for 3. Start whittling away. And that's it. Are we hell-bent here?
I believe, I see a card sitting there. I think that might be 1 card left for Reed. I wonder why he decided to take down the Spear Point Oread there. You know, he's got a protection from red Master of Waves, and he's also got a 2/3 in his hand.
Does he have some way to... Does he have like a... No, there's nothing even in the colors that's going to return that.
I'm just not sure why he was worried about that at that time, you know? I mean, maybe he's just worried about some big swing happening.
Board's getting crowded.
But it's pretty clear here that Berenicki doesn't have a way to deal with the Master Waves, and a protection from red 2/1 does a lot of work here.
Yeah, he has 2 outs to it. Not that he needs necessarily to get out from it. Like he might be able to just...
I don't think he's going to have to. I mean, those
you think if he doesn't deal with that, there's nothing he can do?
Those 4 elementals are like a major issue because Reed can double block. He can throw like Master of Waves plus an elemental on the
like
giant
Kragma
or
Butcher,
on the Butcher.
Or Kragma Butcher attacks. He can be like, okay, Master of Waves and a token block.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and he keeps his Master of Waves, start trading off tokens for like actual cards like that.
Yeah, every turn you get the Master of Waves to just do something.
Yeah.
And what do we have? I think it feels like a black card is in his hand. Might be a Cerebus. In comes Gray Merchant.
And this is like Reed has options here too. He can throw 2 elementals in front. He can just throw the Fellhide Minotaur up there. He can triple block. Like he's got a lot of good options here. Plus, this attack just isn't that big of a deal.
Yeah,
I mean,
this
it's
is
only
not a big deal.
11.
This is a pretty safe block, even if somehow, the token was removed.
You know, this
it
is
wouldn't even kill the Minotaur.
You just mentioned this, BDM. I mean, Reed Duke just traded it. Oh, is this Underworld Cerberus? Oh, he wanted his guy to die, his merchant to die. Because remember, if it's in the yard, when Cerberus dies, he gets it back.
Right.
Also happens for Reed, though.
And Cerberus can only be blocked by 3 creatures.
3, which is no problem right now for Reed.
Yeah.
He can just throw the Master of Waves and a couple of tokens in front of the Cerberus and just keep his Master, trade 2 tokens for a mythic rare bomb.
And he also gets a Gray Merchant back.
He gets, his creatures back, which is, just a Gray Merchant right now. But Michael's also got that Spear Point Oread.
Right.
And if you can get Spear Point Oread going on the Underworld Cerberus, that does change things. Right. Now, it won't be able to get through the Master Waves, but you can chip away at his other cards until he only has Master Waves, and that can't block by itself.
No attack for Reed Duke.
Right, respecting the Cerberus. But this is interesting because now it feels like it might actually be in Berenicki's favor for the Cerberus to die, and that spear point Oread that Reed used Way to the Underworld on could come back to haunt him here.
So it looks like Joe DiMestro won 2-0 over David Ochoa.
Okay.
I'm really curious to see David's draft. David was drafting, right to the left of Calcano, and I'm curious what he was picking. It sounded like maybe his draft didn't go as well as he would have hoped.
Okay. Here's the Deathbellow Raider, though I'm not really sure why he casted it here.
Yeah.
It's just going to run in and die. Or just eat up three of his mana every turn to regenerate it.
Something getting bestowed here. We see him tap 5 mana.
Feels like it, doesn't it?
We have a Baleful Eidolon.
Yeah. That would be like, that would make sense. He's got one in his deck.
I'm not sure if maybe Reed should have attacked last turn with the...
You think so?
Maybe.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I mean, things get fairly disastrous for him if Michael does find a way to kill his master, but he clearly doesn't have one now.
He just felt like he had to put a more complex, more robust assortment of creatures in the way of the Cerberus if it attacked.
The Cerberus, yeah.
And that one also would give him a card when it died. So this is almost certainly Baleful Eidolon. Oh, no.
The other.
Yeah, the other
Eidolon. This one's Nyxborn.
It's Belled Eidolon. Bayless.
Bayless Eidolon.
Rick Bayless Eidolon. Wow. Going aggro.
Master Waves is unblockable. This is not quite a two-turn clock.
It's exactly a two-turn clock.
Oh, 5, 6, 6, 7. Yeah, absolutely. So that's one more turn. I kept thinking it was still Baleful Eidolon.
This is game 3.
This is
Winner
interesting.
of this match is not 10-0.
This is interesting. So Berenicki's stacking up blocks as he sees how Reed would block.
Which sometimes people do to also influence you to try to get you to block that way. He attacks with everybody.
Move my creatures around to let you know I made a final decision now.
So Reed needs to not die here.
That's his goal.
Like that's if he can manage to stay alive through this turn, he does have a lethal crackback. So his goals are not necessarily, based around trying to get maximum out of each of his creatures here. It's to minimize the chance that Michael can play something that kills him.
Yeah, and to be able to
it's a much different goal, right? Like sometimes your goal is to not die. Sometimes your goal is to make your block such that you take on a little bit of risk of dying, but that his board state is completely decimated afterwards. Berenicki has one card in his hand, I think. Oh, wow. Is it Timoret?
Is it the Murder King?
Yeah. I wonder if you pre-combat Timoret.
Yeah, I would almost certainly pre-combat Timoret because I'm going to throw, if anything.
Does he have enough mana to just kill Reed here? He does, right? 2, 4, 6?
No, but it's you need red for each activation.
Oh, and he's only got one red mana source?
He's only got one red.
Yeah, you're totally right. Savage.
We can sack the Cerberus.
He can sack the Cerberus and have 4 mana left over.
And get a...
Nothing.
No, he can get his Gray Merchant.
But he needs 5 for that.
Oh, you're right.
He can get a Spear Point, can't cast it. This
also
gives Reed his
Gray Merchant.
Just so you know, the creatures go back to the hand, not play.
Is Reed reminding him that they both get the creatures
yeah,
back?
he's double checking, but he's just dead, right? That's a red card. He can't block either of them. That's 7 damage.
Still red.
I think we might have had a situation here where he had to make some type of desperation attack, but I think his lack of red mana is going to cost him this game here. This is kind of an insane board state, by the way.
Okay, we got an activation. God,
5 minutes.
this is just announced at the end of the round. These
What
guys usually
about
have a
his
couple extra
Pain
minutes.
Seer? He has that Pain Seer
Seer,
still,
yeah.
right?
That actually blocks.
That can block the
But-
Master of Waves, but the problem is that Reed still has a bunch of other creatures.
And we'll
hanging
get
around.
and we'll get a Gray Merchant.
And then we'll get a Gray Merchant as well. So I don't really see how Berenicki can get out
Yeah,
of this.
and he doesn't either.
He
He's
had to
like-
run through all the iterations
Yeah.
just like we
Yeah,
did.
you can't just scoop there, but you know.
Yeah, but then he just scoops there.
There you see David Ochoa tweeting pictures of delicious food.
Yeah,
Here's my Starbucks coffee that I just drank.
yeah.